Hey everyone, welcome to the Direct Agents webinar on last minute Amazon strategies to impact Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the rest of Q4. My name is Megan Conahan. I'm an EVP at Direct Agents.
I'm Daniel Owen, also EVP at Direct Agents.
Awesome. I do want to give you a quick background on Direct Agents before we jump into all of the meat and potatoes. So first and foremost, Direct Agents, we're a 17-year-old independent and minority-owned digital marketing agency, and we help brands with their growth both online and on Amazon. Now, as we get started, do feel free to chat any questions if you have them, and we're going to do our best to answer as many as we can if we have some time. So today, we're going to cover holiday shopping trends, how to make the most of your Amazon presence, and then finally some Amazon advertising and promotions and how to stand out. So really what we wanted to do during this webinar is just give you things that you could implement right away and really still create an impact for the rest of Q4, which is somehow only a month and a half left this year. So first things first, we did want to provide a couple of trends that we're talking to a lot of our clients about. First off, it's obviously going to be a really heavy online shopping holiday, and I'm not going to harp on this because I think we all know this. It's been the topic of pretty much every single marketing webinar over the last, 6 months or so. But it's just the truth, right? This is not the year of in-store. People aren't going to go to stores like they were in 2019. And I actually heard somebody call some of the deals that are happening around next week, Cyber Week, screen buster deals versus doorbuster deals, which I really love because honestly, that's the truth. Many retailers are closed or have limited hours. For example, Walmart's closed on Thanksgiving, which has been a really big shopping day in the past. So just, long story short, this is not going to be a retail focused year. It's going to be heavily reliant on digital. The next trend that we're seeing is holidays starting really early, but Black Friday still remains very key. So again, I'm sure most people on this webinar have been seeing it already, right? Holiday shopping has begun. I personally already started my holiday shopping during Prime Day, Prime Day last month. I got a couple of things. And generally, I think just people are a little bit concerned about shipping delays and logistics delays, but overall, people are also just looking for something to look forward to. I got a coffee yesterday from Starbucks and they have their little hot holiday coffee cups now, and it honestly just made my morning, right? I was like, great, holidays are here, let's go, bring on the snow, bring on like the merriment. This entire year has just been cancel plans, cancel weddings, canceled vacations, and people are just really craving something to look forward to. So, enter the holidays. But while people did start buying a lot earlier this year, the reality is that most people are still going to hold out for those really big sale days, which means Prime Day that already happened, and next week, right? Cyber Week, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of those big days. In consumers' minds, these are the days where retailers and brands have been offering the biggest sales, and that's when people are going to show up and shop because they expect for their dollar to go further those days. It's sad, but people's finances have been very affected, over the last kind of 6 months to a year. So they're going to keep looking for those discounts. They're going to keep looking for those big days where they can buy more with obviously less money. And some of the stats that we saw are about half of luxury and tech consumer buyers are going to wait for promotion. So what that just means is this year you're going to just see more and more revenue, coming from online during Cyber Week than you had in the past. You have to make sure you obviously write your budgets, and Daniel's going to talk about all of that in a little bit. The other opportunity that this presents is the opportunity to find new customers, right? Brand loyalty has been significantly and severely challenged. And you can see the chart on the right. People have just become more and more open to trying new brands over the last several years during the holidays. And the pandemic, like everything, has escalated this. So only 11% of people said that they're going to shop from the same retailers they did last year. So what this says to me is almost 90% of people are going to shop at different brands, different retailers. And this presents a huge opportunity for us to grow the customer base. That's if you do it correctly. Again, Daniel is going to go into some tactics about how to do this in a couple of minutes, but we really need to make sure that our top of funnel and our mid funnel campaigns are set up for success, or you're going to be missing out on new shoppers, new customers. And then one of the last trends I wanted to touch on is the rise in self-gifting and guilt gifting. You know, I always think that there's been a little bit of self-gifting going around like on the holidays. I know personally, I do that, you know, I'm like gift guides for my sister, but also for myself, for my best friend, and also for myself. But people are really looking even more this year for these little luxuries to reward themselves in just difficult times, right? But then you get into guilt gifting. So 40% of people said that they're going to buy more this year, and they're spending more than usual to make up for a lack of physically being together. So just make sure you're aware of that, so you can consider pivoting your gift guides to make a little bit more room for this new consumer behavior. You know, I've been seeing some brands say, you know, a little something for you, or stocking stuffers and things like that. And I think it really resonates quite well. You know, the other part of this is that gift card interest has also recently increased, with 53% of people planning to give a gift card this year. So also just be prepared for that larger uptick when people are redeeming their gift cards, and make sure you have a good post-holiday plan to capture those individuals. You know, obviously Amazon gift cards are massive, but if you are a retailer that offers gift cards, just make sure you have a strategy to promote those as well. And then also, consumers have cited this year that free shipping is going to be their primary reason for choosing where to buy a gift from this holiday season. I mean, Daniel, you and I know this, but Amazon is synonymous with 2-day free shipping. So again, I really think that this year you're going to have a much larger share of your holiday sales that are going to come through Amazon, which is going to be quite interesting. And then the final thing, you know, I wanted to touch on, which I think is actually really interesting, is that this is the first time we've had Prime Day so close to the holidays. So I actually really like it because it gives us a way to almost gauge what the holidays will be like, right? You can use Prime Day as a guide to plan. So, you know, I want to give you some stats on what we saw with Prime Day. On average, ad spending on Amazon increased by 3.6 times. Advertising driven conversions were up 2.4 times. However, there was a significant increase in competition. So we did see CPCs increase about 1.5 times, and obviously that affected ACOS. But really what I'm saying here is just make sure that you look at what happened for you guys during Prime Day, your specific brands, and use it as a guide, so you know what to expect for budget, for convergers, so you don't run out of money, that you aren't leaving kind of dollars on the table. So I am going to turn it over to Daniel now, and he's going to talk through some more Black Friday and Cyber Monday, really tactics and strategies for growth. So Daniel, do you want to go through some of the great ideas we've been giving to our clients?
Definitely, yeah. So a lot of what we're going to focus on is actually what you can do, you know, in the next 9 days for before Black Friday or Cyber Monday actually kicks in. And one thing is, yeah, to look at 2019 as a guide for this, right? So we do see spikes where spend increases, of course. So one thing is that regardless of you know, how you control your campaigns, or if you are just not even advertising, one thing you can expect for sure, obviously, traffic is going to spike, and if you have advertisements in place, that's also going to either exhaust your budget really fast, or it's also going to spend a lot more on average, right? So what we saw for 2019, not as big as what we saw Prime Day, but the 10 days leading up to it, we saw 1.7x spike in expenditure. Conversions themselves are up 2.3%. Revenue was up 2.2%. So, you know, overall, what we're seeing is that it may not actually cost you additional, let's say, ROAS, right, or heightened ACOS. The extra spend and extra traffic is, you know, benefited by a higher conversion rate, is what we're seeing. So there's a lot of benefits to make sure that we can actually take full advantage of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you know, be in as much of a position to take advantage of ads, of traffic, you know, of product pages, and we'll get into that going forward. So I did say a lot of this will be what we can do up to Black Friday, but you know, one thing is, of course, to ensure we have inventory. We see a lot of sales going in, heightened sales going all the way through January, right? So you may not be able to send inventory now for Black Friday, but you can definitely still plan for the rest of the holiday season, right? And December being really big, and January for some advertisers also being equally big. So just want to make sure we put that out there first before we get into everything else. Everything else be Black Friday, Cyber Monday focused. Okay, so just starting very high and what we can do generally, right? So making sure our product detail pages are retail ready. Scan through them. This is a great time to scan through them. Make sure that, is there any last minute A+ content you can add? Any additional images we can add? Or title optimization, right? If your product is somewhat relevant to holiday season, those are great places to add them in, or great things to add in as well. And if not, you can always add them in to try to capture some of those, gifting keywords or sales keywords in the back end keywords within your Amazon seller interface. Another great thing to do is there's still time to make changes to your storefront. This you can also create holiday specific pages. You can do holiday specific groupings, right, and tabs. And it really helps to kind of relate to the season. And then it also translates well to SB ads, sponsored brands ads, if you guys are running those as well. And we'll get into a little bit of that as well. Okay, so promotions. As we all know, big promotions on Amazon will be happening Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Those are a lot of the deals types promotions, but it's a little bit too late for those. However, there are a lot of other promotions we can still be doing. Big one is, of course, coupons, right? To remain competitive during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the biggest eyes are going to go towards consumer eyes are going to go towards what's on sale. So coupons allow you to remain competitive. They don't take long to get in there. You can easily set them up. And it still looks like you're participating in Black Friday, Cyber Monday on Amazon. So this is a great time to kind of go through, see what you can actually discount, right? Or you can just create a discount straight up. But look what you can do, right? To offer during this time period, or even longer into December, what products can be available for that, at what margins. But this is definitely a great time to focus on that as a very impactful way to also bump up your sales and your visibility. And of course, advertising is going to be a major part. So first, we're going to just talk about if you're not doing advertising. The first thing is not too late. You can still set up campaigns. You have time left. Amazon will approve these, but in time. And just a real quick 101 to get anything set up. What we would recommend is set up branded manual campaigns, right? Let's capture any kind of brand awareness and not give that to any other competitors. These typically will be cheaper to run, lower CPC, and just maintain your market share, right? So let's get that in place. Second, easily set up auto campaigns, right? But you don't have as much time to test them now, so you might not know kind of what CPCs or what budgets to go with. So we recommend just setting them with low bids, set them with perhaps even a low budget at first, just to make sure that, in these first 9 days before Prime Day hits, Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits, that they're not running away, right? And you kind of get a gauge for what the spend is going to be like. They'll start picking up additional keywords. You don't even have to generate the keywords for that part. And you can use dynamic bids down only in that case so that they also don't kind of run away. What we would also recommend is negating your brand terms within these campaigns so that any kind of brand searches do go to those initial brand campaigns that we set up. And also the budget just purely goes to non-brand and makes it a lot easier to compartmentalize and manage the campaigns. So for the rest that do have advertising campaigns going, we'll get into a little bit more there. So the spike is going to happen, right? We know that for sure, whether you do anything or don't do anything. It's best to bid up on manual keywords because you control those really well. And you know what are the revenue drivers, what are the good ROAS drivers. Put those on the best performers and bid up. We would say even up to you can start with a low bid, maybe 10%. But we consider as high as 2 times a bid during Black Friday Cyber Monday because it's worth it, right? We're actually going to see the return. If budget is an issue, consider using budget scheduling tools, right, and bid optimization tools. Hopefully they run in real time, and a lot of campaigns for advertisers, they cap out really quickly, right? So the way Amazon works is that all advertising budgets start at 12 a.m. At the beginning of each day. And especially during heightened times of traffic, a lot of them cap out at 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m. And those create opportunities because there's going to be less competitors later on in the day, lower CPCs, right? So, and a lot of times people are actually more in a conversion mindset, right? So the conversion rates actually can increase later on in the day. So the idea here is to schedule your ads either to run later on in the day or to have them be budgeted so that you're releasing a percent of your budget throughout the day. Amazon does not natively have tools for this, but of course there are other third-party tools. We also have in-house tools that we built for this, which is kind of the screenshot you see on the right. And it really does help to extend your budget, boost up performance, hit better beneficial times and higher conversion rate times of the day. So that, especially for big traffic, big competition days like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, can really yield benefits. Budget itself. We recommend at least setting your budgets to 2x for these days. You saw the pumps early on in that image that we shot. And last year, overall clients we saw 1.7, right? Some were actually a lot higher than 1.7 spend increase. So we do recommend setting budgets to 2x if you can, and start with a bid increase of at least 10% to try and really take advantage of the heightened traffic and increase a lot in your sales. Dynamic downbidding is if you need more control, use that instead of just allowing it to kind of go as high as it wants to go. And if your budget does allow, of course, to use both up and down bidding. Okay, so to kind of capture also the additional traffic, right? We want to be able to exploit as much of this traffic on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and sales opportunities. We do recommend boosting your top of search bids. You can kind of see where we're highlighting it here, where the CPC is going to be higher because you're boosting those bids, but the increase, right, the gains that you get from it, the increase in traffic, the revenue, sales, orders, it makes up for it. Your ACoS may tend to trend a little bit higher, but at the same time, you're going to hopefully make up for that in sales. The other part of this is you can kind of compare it to product pages and what we're getting out of that. So the CPC is lower there, and we're going to talk about this as a strategy next. And you're also having lower ACoS, so your performance can be better on product pages if the heightened competition on top of search and search page results are a lot higher. But at the same time, you're going to lose on volume, right? So it really depends on what you want to kind of take forward as your strategy for Amazon, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday days, and where we want to go with that. So the next part of this is, well, if we don't have as much of a budget, right? If we need to strategically try to carve out what we can given our budget and try to maintain the higher sales with the given budget as well as the lower ACoS, what else can we be doing? Let's go on to the next slide for this. And that is really trying to conquest the product detail pages. Right? We saw the ACoS can be a little bit lower if we target correctly, that is. But the product detail pages today allow us to really be able to monopolize a lot of it. This actually came from an actual screenshot that we see on the right. You can kind of see the SD, SD, SP, you can kind of see the SP, SD there in those little red boxes. But those are all the different types of placements that we can target through sponsored display, sponsored product. On the bottom, there's actually even sponsored brands that we can target, right? A lot of you guys may be using this already, but let's focus on this and pick ASINs to target, product target that are ones where you can actually have a quality advantage, you can strategically conquest, you have other benefits, or in the past you've shown and seen that you've gotten a lot of sales from putting your product on these other ASINs. There's actually a lot of lift that we can drive for a good return. Granted, it won't be as high volume as what we can do on top of search or even search result pages. But if your budget is a little bit more limited, or you want to really kind of cap off, every possible opportunity that you can on Amazon for these days, this is something that you can definitely look into now. We highly recommend spending a little time there and beefing up these campaigns. And one other thing that we would recommend to really stand out from the crowd, especially on search pages, right? There's just going to be so many sponsored products, ASINs, there's going to be sponsored brands that are going to be in competition with yours, but there's actually only going to be one video and search creative, if any, on those pages. Video in search is a new unit that does show up on both the desktop and mobile platforms for Amazon, and usually is approved by Amazon within 24 hours. So if you have video creative, maybe something that even speaks to the season, or anything that is just kind of really highlights your product, or even your product messaging, your brand messaging, this is a great place to stand out. You know, we're seeing actually pretty good returns from this, equivalent to sponsored brands. You know, maybe a little bit better than sponsored brands in some portions, but still, you know, it's getting good return for our clients, and one place that we can really differentiate. So the fact that Amazon will approve these in times, highly recommend this as well as another area to push. And that pretty much kind of sums up what we can do in the next 9 days before this holiday season hits. And kind of to run through the takeaways, we would just any last minute enhancements and to the product pages in the storefront. Traffic and ad spend will spike. That's just a granted, and it'll go far into December as well, typically to the 21st of December. So if you're not adjusting to this, your campaigns are either just going to cap out really fast, or the ads really themselves just won't run through the full day. Set the ample budget caps to combat this. Use any ad scheduling tools that you can to hit the increase in traffic. Amplify your bids. Use real-time monitoring tools if possible. Use coupons, promotions to stay competitive without for the Black Friday deals. Use product page targeting campaigns to capture additional traffic, sales, and you know, conquest specifically, of course. And the very last that we just showed, employ video and search ads if you do have them in stock, and you know, really try to differentiate your products and stand out from all the rest of the ASINs on these very competitive days.
Yeah. Daniel, I love the the staying a little bit like using video top of search, because people's attention spans are going to be like all over the place right now. You know what I mean? So just using those extra ways to make sure to gauge attention, I think is really important. We did have a couple questions, so I want to ask a few of these that got sent to us. So first was around the point about budget schedulers, right, and bid tools and things of that nature. Somebody asked if we had any recommended tech platforms or tech partners that we use that we could kind of list off that somebody could possibly contact and get in touch with and start using for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, one partner that we work with is Penshu. We also build a lot of our own in-house tools, such as the budget scheduler, bid optimization tools, and we kind of, you know, pick and choose what we want to use for certain campaigns. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a third party, Penshu is one. I'm not too sure with all the other ones out there.
Probably the main one.
Yeah, so we also, of course, offer these tools as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, for the person who asked that question, you know, feel free to reach out to marketing@directagents.com. We'd be happy to give you details on our tech tools as well. That comes standard in how we partner with all of our agencies, because like Daniel mentioned, it's so important for performance. Another question, for I'm a brand, we have relatively low budgets. Do you recommend spending all of my budget to promote Amazon on Amazon, or does it make sense to promote off of Amazon? I've seen some brands using social channels to drive traffic to Amazon. So what's your perspective on that? Is it really like cap out on Amazon first before we go to those outside social, Facebook, Instagram partners to drive traffic in?
Well, I mean, a little biased here since this is an Amazon focused session, but it really depends on where you are selling. You know, are you also doing D2C? Are you mostly on Amazon? You know, we're seeing, of course, huge scales and growth in just Amazon targeted traffic, right? And it's already picking up 50% plus of all retail sales, digital retail sales out there. And what we're also seeing is that your your return is typically going to be higher, right? The intent of the shopper is a lot higher on Amazon than, let's say, social platform. And those are usually used more for awareness. So I would say, especially at a time like time frame, such as what we're looking at now, yeah, Amazon auto campaigns are probably your best bet if your budget is limited and you don't really know what's going to work so well. If you do, I would say boost up those manual bids on Amazon. Go after that, right? Go after exactly what you know is going to work. And yeah, that's going to be your manual campaigns, keyword-driven campaigns. You want to target the search page more than anything because that's where the traffic is. That's where the high intent is. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we would do.
Okay, and then the last question before I think we have to jump is, you mentioned obviously optimizing your product detail page, creating A+ content that is surrounded by the holidays, and also looking at possibly images that you can change, or your on PDP images to be more holiday focused. For some brands that might just be like too much work, right? To create all new imagery. Do you think that is something? So here's a question: do you think that is something that is absolutely necessary to create holiday focused images, or do you think brands can get by with just like their traditional evergreen images? Or a third option, I'm going to throw it out there, is maybe there's something small that people can do to make them more a holiday theme that isn't as time intensive as creating a whole new photo shoot just to add some holiday cheer.
Good point. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not saying to do that at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
Or create any assets that you may not have readily available. This is more if you already do have those assets, to think of Amazon also as a platform, that can take on these types of assets. It may be a little late, but the other thing is they're good for gifting type keywords, right? You see a lot of searches on Amazon that are gifts for men, gifts for kids, gifts for my wife, whatever it might be. And if you actually have something set up for that, you can start taking on some of that traffic and those keywords, right? You can actually put those keywords in the back end, or you can implement them into your product detail pages. So you organically start picking those, and then you can layer on ads as well. So those are kind of the benefits that you would get out of it. I don't know if I would recommend starting a campaign, including creative, going after all that build right now at this point in time, if it's not already actively available.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer they were hoping for, because you probably want to sleep between now and Black Friday. It sounds like a lot to do, but thank you guys so much for the questions. If we didn't get to your questions, we will do our best to answer via email. If you do have any questions that come up after this, please feel free to email marketing@directagents.com and we'll get back to you. But thank you all so much for attending today and spending this last 30 minutes with us to talk about how to really make sure our Amazon holiday strategies really stand out. So thank you, Daniel, for all your insight, and thank you all for attending.